right, good afternoon or morning, whatever time you're watching this, or even evening, and welcome kindergarten families. We're excited to have you here and for you to learn a little bit about our kindergarten program here at Starkey Ranch K-8 for your newest little one starting with us. I'm Mrs. Frantz, the school principal here at Starkey Ranch, and I'm joined by the kindergarten teachers that are currently teaching kindergarten here this year. You can go ahead and move it. There we go. Here's some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about some general kindergarten readiness tips, what a typical daily schedule would look like in our kindergarten classroom, our school structures, because we are a K-8 school and a magnet school, so they get to engage in some awesome things here that you might not typically get to engage in at a traditional school. We're going to talk about the curriculum that your children will be learning, our magnet themes, and kindergarten camp and kindergarten meet the teacher day. Again, who are we? Here's our staff. I'm Mrs. Frantz, the principal. Mrs. Wolf is our coach for our primary grade levels. So she helps with the teachers and instructional planning. And I'm joined here by our kindergarten teachers, which you see their names listed there below. All right.
Hi, everyone.
Hand it over to Ms. Carlson. Go ahead, Ms. Carlson.
So we are so excited for your children to start kindergarten with us. That means they are a big kid now. And we go over not only academic things with them, but there are some few non-academic things that they need to know before they come into school for the first time. So the biggest thing for us is that they need to be able to take care of all of their bathroom needs independently. That means buttoning and zipping their pants or wearing elastic pants that can be pulled on and off easily, wiping and flushing unassisted, and making sure they wash their hands is really, really important. Each bathroom is in our classroom. So each suite of classrooms has its own bathroom. The other thing that would be really helpful to work on with your child is getting them used to a really loud flushing sound. Maybe you could take them in the bathrooms at Target or, another store like that, because our bathrooms do have those toilets with the very loud flushing. Another important thing is that they need to be able to communicate their needs clearly, whether they need the bathroom, if they got hurt, where it hurts. If they're not feeling well, they need to be able to tell us what doesn't feel well. It's also really helpful if they know their first and last name. When they go to the clinic at school or anything like that, they will need to know their first and last name. It's also important for kinder camp and dismissal every day that they know their first and last name, not their nickname, not what they get called at home, but their first and last name that they'll be using at school. Because when we call their names for Caroline, they need to be able to jump up and say, "That's me," and get out the door as quickly as possible. Once we have kinder camp and we have our meet the teacher day, they will also need to know their teacher's name. So this is another really good thing for you to practice with them. So that way, if they're ever on campus or even in conversations with your family and they say, "Oh, who's your kindergarten teacher?" they can clearly say who their teacher is. The other thing is lunchtime. So there are quite a few tables for kindergarten in our cafeteria, and we have assistants to help with those tables. But it would be really helpful if your child knows how to open up all the things in their lunchbox by themselves. We do a lot of teaching them pinch and pull and things like that. So that way, that's less that our assistants have to help with in terms of getting them ready for lunch. If you're sending them with a lunchbox that has different compartments and things like that, make sure you test those things at home so that way your child knows how to open them when they get to school.
Part of the big reason that we want them to be able to open things on their own is because we don't want them waiting to have to eat. So we have typically, there's always over 100 kindergarten students in the cafeteria at the same time. And we don't want them having to raise their hand and wait for a very long time to have something open for them. So I know that many of the stores sell what's a very popular called a bent-go box. It's called a bento box or a bent-go. And they make great ones for little ones because they have 2 little snaps you pull up and all their stuff's already open on the inside and they can get to eating right away. That's always a great suggestion if you're a first-time kindergarten parent to help your student get eating right away and not have to wait for somebody to come around and open their items for them.
Awesome. Next up, we're going to talk about a typical kindergarten day. Hi, I'm Ms. Barlow. The schedule that you see up here on the PowerPoint is not the schedule that's going to necessarily be your schedule next year. This is just kind of what a typical one looks like, so we can kind of talk about what you might expect to see next year. We start off all of our kindergarten mornings with a morning meeting where we kind of just touch base with each other, kind of take the temperature of the class, find out how everyone is doing, give them a chance to get all those important things out that they want to share every morning with us, talk about what's going on for that day, if there are any changes or anything in there. So we take a few minutes to take that all into consideration, have some conversation. In this particular schedule from our morning meeting, we went into some of our literacy time, which is when we're going to learn a good chunk of our reading, our writing, and our letters, sounds in the beginning of the year. We also go into our SOAR time, which is when we get some of those small groups going, some independent stations going on with our kids and things like that, give them some time to work on their own. In this schedule after that time, we also went to our half-hour lunch, which Mrs. Carlson touched upon just a few minutes ago about making sure that we have things that our kids can open on their own, because it is a very short time for them to eat, and we want to make sure that they can maximize that time. After lunch, in this particular schedule, we had our math block, which is a 90-minute math block where we get to learn all of those things, starting with number recognition, going all the way up to actually adding, subtracting, and talking about area and things like that too, which we'll touch upon more a little bit later. After math, we go into specials. Specials can be PE, art, and music on normal days. And after that, we had a recess block where we get some much needed outdoor time running around and playing with our other classmates. After that, we came back and we did a small snack. We will do snack once a day with our students because it's a pretty long day and they get really hungry. So to prevent some hangry students in our classroom, we have a little snack break as we taught them social studies, science, and magnet time. Our school is very lucky in the fact that we do get to have magnet time, and once a week your student will be going to either Spanish or computer science, and that was what was built in at this point in that day. After that, we have a really cool part of the day called purposeful playtime. This is a time for our kids to kind of just unwind and relax a little bit, just play a little bit and learn some social skills by playing amongst each other in a little group time. After that, we pack up, and then it's time for dismissal.
All right, one of the things that you can do at home as a parent doesn't require anything fancy from you, doesn't require being trained as a teacher. We don't expect that. But if you will take the time to read with your child every day, that makes the biggest difference because as you can see here, the single biggest predictor of high academic achievement is just reading to your kids. It's not drilling flashcards or workbooks or an online computer program, but it's really the time you take to sit with them and read to them. Having a good model of how you read fluently helps them develop a love of reading, a love of literacy, and helps them ultimately become a fantastic reader themselves. We also are a magnet program here at Starkey Ranch K-8. So in addition to the core instruction that your students will get, which you'll hear about in a minute, those are your traditional subjects that are taught at every school, reading, writing, math, science, history, those type of things. We also let them engage in all of our magnet programs, and we do that from kindergarten, from the very first day, starting all the way up until they finish 8th grade. We have 3 different magnet programs here at our school, and you're going to hear a little bit about each of those. We have our Academy of the Arts, which is our performing and fine arts program. We have our World Language Conservatory, which is where our students will take part in learning the Spanish language, and our Institute of Innovation, where they engage in computer science.
For our reading standards, we focus on the Florida standards with our wonderful curriculum, and that is the foundational skills, including phonemic awareness and phonics. They also learn communication skills with writing and speaking and listening. They also have many different genres of text, poetry, informational,
and all kinds of different stories that they will be able to read and have access to throughout the year. And then the last thing that they're going to have access to with our reading standards is vocabulary, building that wonderful vocabulary so they can become great speakers later.
Hi, I'm Kelly Graham, and I'm going to talk about the UFly Foundations program that we have. UFly is a phonics-based program to help teach reading and writing in the Association of Letters and Sounds. We start the first week with letters, names, and sounds, and move into consonant blends and digraphs and some early first grade skills towards the end of kindergarten. The students will utilize magnet letters, individual whiteboards, and expo markers to interact with letters and words. And if you were able to attend the kindergarten roundup, you were provided with the resources. If you haven't received a bag yet, you can stop by our front office and grab one of those.
We are actually getting a new math curriculum this coming school year that will be able to better fit our Florida standards and help your child learn how to fit all of those math standards in the state of Florida, which are counting to 100, addition and subtraction, measurement, and shapes, including 2D and 3D shapes.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Hall. I'm going to talk to you about the social studies standards. So we have chronological thinking, and that's when we do calendar each day. We talk about the months, the days of the week, and stuff like that. And then we have our physical systems. We are talking about landforms and bodies of water. We talk about government in kindergarten, and that's basically, we're just talking about the rules that we have here at school and also at home. Spatial terms is when we talk about globes and we talk about maps and the cardinal directions. And then places and regions, that's just letting the kids understand that we live in the state of Florida. And then history is we learn about our timelines. We compare our families with those in the past. And also we talk about the US symbols. History, we do we just did history. Economics, the last one is we talk about our wants and our needs. And that is what we do for social studies.
Hi, my name is Miss Alvarenga. Sorry, the bell's ringing. I'm going to share with you about our science standards for kindergarten. We kind of split by quarters. So for the first semester, we have the first and second quarter. We're going to start science using the five sense, and how we can use the five sense to describe and observe the world around us, and also relate it to the body parts of the five sense. Then we move to the second quarter for the fun part of science, studying the universe, the earth, and the space and time, exploring the opposites. So we're going to learn about big and small, near and far, hot and cold, and how days and nights are different. For the second semester, we start working with physics. Basically, we teach about properties of matter, force and motion, energy. And when we talk about that, we also go through sounds and vibration, gravity, which is super fun. We learn about push and pull. And at the end, the very last quarter, we move to the living things, where organization and development of living organisms. We talk about non-living and living, the difference between them, plants and animals, and what are the needs for those, and also the habitats.
Hi, I'm Miss Cook, and I'm going to be talking about Magnet here at Starkey Ranch. We offer fine arts, computer science, and world language. So in kindergarten, your child will either have computer science or world language. For half of the year, they'll go to computer science, and then the other half, they will go to world language.
Oh no, we can't hear the volume of our awesome music teachers talking about the program. Let's see if we can fix that for you guys real quick. Okay. Well, I can talk to those programs. It doesn't sound like they're going. The sound must be having an issue. We'll try to get these posted to our school Facebook page so that you guys can see those as well after you watch the video and learn about our music program. The people in the video here are Mrs. Collinson and Mrs. Dubé. They are two of our elementary music teachers. Your students will go to music as one of their specials every single week. They'll either go 1 or 2 times a week, depending on the schedule that they have. And they engage in learning lots of different instruments. You can see that the violins are, or not the ukuleles are behind the ladies there. They learn to play those, the xylophones, and they're exposed to a lot of different instruments. So they can determine if they are interested in moving on in our fine arts programs in 4th or 5th grade. Well, they could do pre-band or orchestra, and then carry out that same skill throughout middle school. I don't know if Mrs. Kinberg's video will play either. She's amazing. No, and if you see her there, she's saying, hola, I'm Senorita Kinberg. Students do go to the Spanish class, like Mrs. Cook said, for half of a school year. So 1 day a week, they will go and engage in beginning Spanish with Mrs. Kinberg in kindergarten, and they continue that in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. They also go in 3rd grade for another half of the year. And in 4th grade, if they choose to, they can choose that as what they call their mini major and continue learning Spanish all the way through 8th grade. Your children in kindergarten are exposed to all of our magnet programs, not just one of them. They get a little bit of time in all the things that we offer so they can develop an appreciation for each and hopefully find the one that fits them, that they're more passionate about, that they can continue to explore once they get into intermediate, which is our upper grades in elementary and through middle school. That being said, we cannot wait to get to know your little ones. We enjoyed seeing so many of them at Kindergarten Roundup. They're adorable and they look so excited to come to school. And we know that they're going to soar here at Starkey. As a parent, make sure that if you have not completed your registration for kindergarten, you do that on the Pasco County Schools parent portal. It's called My Student is what you'll sign up on. Many of you signed our mock form, which is our school, which you got on our mailing list. If you've been getting emails from Mrs. Bermudez, you're on the mock form mailing list, but that does not register your child for kindergarten. You have to do an additional step, which is going on the Pasco County Schools website, creating a parent portal, and actually uploading birth certificates and immunization records and things of that nature to make sure that we get your child all set up to have a student number and be enrolled. We cannot put your child on a class list until they're fully enrolled. So we start placing students on class list over the summer. And you'll also start receiving our family newsletters over the summer as soon as you have a parent portal set up. It'll have our supply list on it. It'll have all the beginning of the school year things that you need to know about, meet the teacher days, how to do a lunch account, all the different things that you would want to know to get yourself up and running. But like we said, you can't get any of that until you've finished your registration. So if I can stress anything enough, go ahead and get those pieces done.
Hello, parents and families. My name is Ms. Stefos, and I'm going to talk about our kindergarten camp. It is a really wonderful opportunity to be able to bring your little baby Red Hawk to the summer camp we have. It's only 2 days, and it's July 30th and 31st from 9 a.m. to noon. And it's a really good opportunity for the kids to kind of come in. Our office staff does a really great job of trying to place your kiddo with their kindergarten teacher for the whole year. So it's a nice opportunity to even maybe get to meet the kindergarten teacher. It's in the morning, they'll come in and they'll get dropped off. So they kind of get the feel for the car loop. And then we start the camp with a reading and kind of like a fun craft and a story. And then we have a snack time that the kids will get to enjoy. They get to have some recess time, so they get to see some of our campus and some of the places that they'll get to go. And we also take turns going on a tour of the school. Our school is very large, and we know our littles come in and it's really overwhelming. So it's a really great opportunity for them to come and kind of get the layout of the land. And then we also get to go to the library and they get to see Miss Maxon, our wonderful librarian, and they have a story time there. And then they also will then go home and they kind of get the feel for that dismissal procedure as well. So it's a really, really great opportunity. So you're going to want to get your kids signed up for that if you can. And it's a really great opportunity for them to come and meet the teachers as well. So.
And I will say that that is the best thing you can do for your child before the first day of school is if they can come to kinder camp. They get a lot of those first day jitters out. some of the first day tears of leaving mom and dad, make it a lot easier for that very first day of school when they've already done that for kindergarten camp. And they feel so confident walking you in on Meet the Teacher Day to say, hey, meet my teacher, because I've been with her for 2 days, and they're very proud and excited to show you their teacher. So if you are in town and you're able to bring your child to that, it is highly recommended. We also want you to save the date, because after the 2 days of kindergarten camp are over, that final day is a Friday, and that is our Kindergarten Meet the Teacher Day. It will be from 9 to 11 a.m., so a 2-hour time frame. You do not need to stay for the 2 hours, but you can drop in at any time between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. to meet your child's teacher, come look at their classroom, explore our school a little bit, walk around, and that way you get to ask all the questions you would like to ask and feel confident that your little one is in the space that you are comfortable with them in. You also are allowed to walk your child to the classroom on the very first day of school, but you may not walk your child to the classroom after the first day of school. That is a Pasco County school policy and rule, just to make sure that we keep our campus as secure and safe as possible. But don't worry, after the first day of school, we have all of our leadership students out and tons of our staff members out so that we can take your child by the hand and walk our kindergartners to their classrooms after day 1 until they feel confident doing it on their own. So don't worry, mom and dad, we've got them taken care of, even if you can't walk them all the way after the first day. Another way to stay involved, once your child has started here, make sure that you read your teacher's emails that they send out to you, that you have that My Student Parent portal, because we do send communication on there as well. If you don't know how to do that, we'll have lots of sessions where you can stop by and learn about that during Meet the Teacher Day. You please listen to our weekly, if I send out a phone message, which is very rare, but I do send out bi-weekly newsletters. It is faithfully every other Friday. You will get a newsletter every 2 weeks from me via email and via text message, because I know people like to get information in a variety of ways. And it has everything going on for our school and the newsletters for every grade level for the next 2 weeks. So if there's nothing else that you read that comes from the school, that is important for you to keep up with and read, because it has everything in a one-stop shop. Things about your child's individual classroom or your child individually will come from your child's teacher. You can also visit our school website anytime. That's where you'll fill out if you're having a change of dismissal, because your child's not going to be going home the normal way. So if you're normally a car rider for a pickup and you're going to be having them be a walker that meets you at the gates, then that would be where you would put in that change of dismissal, and we'll get them to the right place. You can also report absences on there and do a lot of other things on our school website. So that is where you would visit. You could also join our PTO to get involved. We love volunteers. We especially love our kindergarten parents to get involved from year 1 and keep them involved for the 9 years that your child's here. And you can also follow us on social media. The end time updates sometimes get posted on social media. We also post lots of our celebratory things. So the great things that our kids are accomplishing, we post those on our social media page along with photos. So we do have a pretty active school Facebook page that you can follow us on. This is what my family and parent newsletter will look like when you get it and you open it. It's called News from the Nest. You'll get a back to school edition, because you will be a first-time kindergarten parent, or maybe you are a returning parent to us, but everybody gets the back to school edition, which will have all that prep information for the first day of school for you. And then every 2 weeks after, you'll get a newsletter for those 2 weeks. That's what our school website looks like that I discussed earlier. So you'll know you landed on the right place if you see that page. That's what our Facebook page looks like. So you'll be able to see that as well. We have our Red Hawk image there. And then if you have any additional questions, administrative questions, that you could email me. My name is Jennifer Franz. All of our emails are pretty easy here in Pasco County. It's usually our first initial and last name for the most part. And they have the same ending at pasco.k12.fl.us. You could also call the school directly. Our front desk is happy to answer any questions you have. And then also, if you have specific questions about, is my child registered? I think I did everything correct, but I'm not quite sure. You can email Michelle Comunale, our registrar, or Jill White, our data entry operator, and they'll let you know if you're missing anything or if you're all set to go. If you've received an email from Mrs. White, you're probably missing something. So make sure that you get that in so that your child can be fully registered. We know that many of our kindergartners need that physical before they start kindergarten, but they're not quite 5 years old yet. So if you have a physical that is due because your child has a summer birthday and you don't have that quite ready yet, that's okay. Your child can still become officially registered as long as you submit the most recent physical and you get the updated one in before the first day of school. So if that's all you're waiting on, make sure that you go ahead and put in everything else that you have so we can get your child all set. And lastly, we just want to thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the call today and meet with all of us virtually. And we can't wait to welcome our newest little Red Hawks to the nest.